It's easy to treat the outsource versus hire decision as a cost question, but that framing can lead you astray. The real test is about the nature of the work itself, and getting it wrong can lock you into the wrong structure for years. So here's the actual question to ask. Will this work still exist in 2 years? And does it sit at the core of how you create value? Those two things, permanence and centrality, are the right decision axes, not price. If the role is ongoing and central to your product or your customer relationship, that points towards hiring. If it's time-bound or sits outside your core, that points towards outsourcing. And everything else follows from that. But let's look at each path in more detail, because the risks on both sides are real. Let's take a concrete example. You run a software business and you need someone managing customer onboarding every day, indefinitely. Now that role touches your product, your brand, and your retention. It needs someone who understands your culture and builds relationships over time. That's a hire. In-house gives you control over quality, compliance, and how the work evolves with your business. The risk of outsourcing something this central is that you lose visibility and consistency, precisely where it matters most. The trade-off is that hiring takes longer to get right and carries fixed overhead. But for permanent core work, that overhead is usually worth it. But now flip it. You need a specialist to build a compliance framework ahead of a regulatory deadline. The work has a clear end date, requires skills you do not need permanently, and sits outside your core product. That's a strong case for outsourcing. You get access to expertise quickly without locking in headcount. The genuine risk here is reduced control. Quality, data handling, and compliance oversight all require active management. Outsourcing is not a way to avoid responsibility for the output. It's a structural choice that trades control for flexibility. And that trade is worth making when the work is genuinely time-bound or peripheral. So here's a rule. Hire in-house if the work is permanent and core to how you create value. Lean toward outsourcing if the work is time-bound, specialist, or peripheral to your core. And when you're unsure, ask yourself, would losing control of this work damage your product or your customer relationship? If yes, it's a hire. If no, outsourcing is probably the more practical fit. The test is not cost, it's structure. If that was of value, subscribe to the channel for one real business question answered every video. For the same clarity in writing, the website and newsletter is 5minutebusiness.com.